Welcome to 2 as 1 Couples, where we tend to discuss matters marriage. And of course, when we do this, we always want to go back to the father, to the beginning, to find out what was your intention about marriage. What is it that you intended for man and woman to be when they come together? To do this, we have been having sessions discussing issues, and we have some people with me in studio who have been tracking with us. Of course, after watching their questions, their highlights, their suggestions, and there may be some comments. That's what you're about to hear now. And with me today is...
my name's Steve Kioko, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm a married man, very passionate about marriage.
My name is Lillian Gitao. I'm also married. I'm a mother, and this is an exciting conversation to have because this is what we need in this generation.
And as usual, Charles Opio, 2 as 1, as we continue to unfold these things, it's always nice to have people in studio where we're able to interact and get feedback, get responses, and understand that there's actually something going on out there, you know?
Yeah, so Lillian, maybe you can start us off. Do you have any question, comment, or a song?
A song, maybe not. But I think something really stood out for me. There's a conversation, you spoke about the diamond, and I think I had a pause and a light bulb moment. In the sense that a diamond is coal, but after a lot of pressure on the coal, it crystallizes and becomes this precious stone. The precious stone, which I did not know until that discussion, is beautiful and precious and whatever that we know of a diamond, but has no light of its own. Please elaborate.
A diamond has no light of its own. It reflects and refracts light and creates. But this is even stranger because we're talking about pressure in that session. We're talking about how God allows pressure to make you one and to create this precious, important, valuable thing. Now, did you know an uncut diamond is not different from glass?
What?
Okay. Tell us.
If you were to see an uncut diamond now, it would look terribly ugly, like unpolished glass, like dirty glass. It is the cuts that give it the brilliance. So not only does the pressure create the diamond, but you will see no light unless it is cut. And so sometimes these cuts are what we say when God is removing something, moving something else, cutting something out of your life. You think God is trying to kill you. No, He's creating avenues for light. So that you can reflect and be brilliant. So they say the most expensive diamond takes the most precise cuts.
Wow. What?
The most expensive takes the most precise cuts. The most beautiful is the one with the most cuts.
Wow. I think maybe when you talk about that and of course looking at marriage, I don't think there's a couple today, we sit in here or any of the ones watching us that will say we enjoy pressure.
No.
You know, and we won't even think that pressure is from God. I mean, He allows it into our lives to fuse us, to make us this diamond, to bring us out. There's a beauty inside each couple. And for it to come out, there's pressure that needs to be applied. And of course, when you talk of pressure, we are talking of when people come and cry out that their economy is gone down, or maybe their friendship, their communication, all these kind of things. And now understanding from the diamond principle that this is actually what makes you strong. I think it's something that we should be embracing. I don't know how to take, I don't know how many people will say, bring it on.
I know, it's tough because most of the time, actually the perspective and the perception of most people is this is an attack. This is the devil.
We pray it off.
Yes, we pray it off. But then it's the pressure that is producing something beautiful. So how do we as married people ensure that our marriages are fortified, that this pressure does not break us, but it makes us or builds us? What are some of those steps?
I think let's raise the issue of attacks. Because I think we misunderstand the devil. We think we know about the devil, we know very little about it.
We don't.
We create a devil, then we talk about the one we created. But half the time, we completely miss the real one.
Yes.
An attack on marriage by the devil is rarely comes as a bad thing. This is a trick of the devil. He makes an offer that takes you away from what is happening. The devil never attacks a marriage with sickness. You will pray.
And you get closer to God.
Yes. He will not attack you with economic problems. unless he knows your foundation is so weak that if that comes, you will automatically split. Always know that the devil wants to destroy one thing, the image of God.
Yes.
And so he will fashion a weapon for you.
Yes.
Meaning, an attack, yes, it could be an attack. Assume it's an attack. It's only an attack if it takes you away from two primary relationships, with God and with your spouse. If that happens, then it was an attack.
Wow. So if we have an attack in our marriage,
Yes.
and by the end of it, which rarely we do,
Yes.
we sit back and analyze and say, wait a minute, the last few months or even years,
Yes.
we've gone through this issue. But at the end of it, do you realize we are closer?
Yeah.
You know? Or do you notice
trust
we pray
God more.
We
Yes.
love God more?
Yes.
Then you're like, wow.
That was pressure.
That was
That was
pressure.
What I
Say
find
that.
interesting about a diamond is when we understand the pressure of how a diamond is formed, then pressure should be looked at as an opportunity to draw close to each other
To God, yes.
and towards God.
Yes.
But most of the time we tend to look at pressure as something that fractures us
Yes.
and destroys us. But it's actually an opportunity. Because the more the pressure, the greater the level of atomic bonding inside of a diamond.
So what maturity do we need to be in to even understand
Yes.
that concept, you know? Maybe you can finish the concept.
I believe it's first of all understanding that it's an opportunity, recognizing it as an opportunity to move towards greater levels of oneness. Once that has been identified, then the couple, a couple can choose, let's respond like this to this challenge that we are facing. Linked to something that you're saying, that the pressure is not creating a wedge between the couple, but it's actually pairing them together so that they can face this monster that is coming. Yeah.
Can I explain to couples? Can I give you the formula for reducing pressure?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
We need it.
Easiest thing. Where there are no gaps, there's nothing to press.
Silence.
Did you hear that? Where there's no gaps, there's nothing to press.
So we need to.
It's already
The
compact.
closer you get, the less the pressure.
Oh.
So it takes us back to friendship
Friendship.
Yes.
and oneness.
Because
Yes.
pressure is a sign that something is not connected.
Yes.
And it needs to be fused back. Something has pulled away. Because, let me ask you, we talked over carpet in another session. We talk about the tabletop, we talk about when God has yoked together. The principle of cleaving. Cleaving simply means that the tabletop, when you look at it, it looks like one tabletop. But the carpenter will tell you that he had to put it together over time and over pressure.
Yes.
So if he finds a split, what do you think he does?
Maximizing.
He has to bring new pressure
Yes.
and realize the pressure of before
Didn't
didn't do a
work.
good
So
job.
you bring
Yeah.
more. I think that's powerful when you talk of gaps. If there is a gap,
Yeah.
then when pressure comes.
Yes.
So like you're saying, we need to go back and ask ourselves, are we friends? Because when
Yeah.
we are friends, we are able to identify gaps.
Yes.
There's a gap in our life here, there's a gap in our life here, and we deal with that gap. And as friends also,
Yes.
it's easy to deal with gaps.
Yes.
Yes.
Because we'll talk and say, you know what, I've realized there's an area here that we are not agreeing, meaning there's a gap.
Yes.
That one will bring us pressure.
Yes.
For us to be fused
Yes.
together, it will bring us pressure. So how do we deal with this? And actually, like you're saying, it's a way for couples to deal with pressure.
Yes.
It's a nice way.
I mean,
it's even
there's-
a fun way, I think. You know, when you
There-
sit down and analyze
There are scriptures that
yourself.
sound like oxymorons.
Yeah.
Count it all joy.
Yes.
When you find yourself in diverse tribulation. Look,
What?
there's tribulation is enough.
Diverse.
When you add diverse to it,
It means multiple, different
yes.
Yes.
Why do you count it all joy? Because what is the end product?
oneness.
That is what God is saying. God is saying, look, you either, if you have gaps, then when you see multiple tribulation, be happy the gaps are closing.
Painfully, yes.
Yes.
But if you can bear the pain,
Yes.
you are going into a place of oneness
Yes.
where now you actually become you are displaying the image of God.
Yes.
And at that point now, there are so many things that can come around you,
Yes.
and you are able to deal with them so easily because you're one.
Yes, and your scripture, the same scripture says, if it be necessary. What is God saying?
Or for the joy that is set before us.
If it be necessary. Meaning, you can avoid the necessity by fixing it.
Take initiative.
Take initiative. Don't wait for, because God wants your marriage to work so much. Are there options? It has to work or it has to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it comes to existing gaps, there's something else that is tied up to that. Let no man put asunder.
Yes.
And one of the things that you mentioned is one of the biggest monsters in a marriage is actually phone time, internet time.
Oh, yes.
That we spend,
Yeah, they are.
you find couples,
This one thing.
I'm sitting next to my wife, but we are chatting on the phone.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
We are not talking.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's happening.
Yeah.
It's actually happening
And
now.
I find technology has, for some reason, been able to replace the organic connection that is supposed to be there between couples. And that is one area that we intentionally must work on.
And this is not an easy one. It's not easy because of one of the things that social media has done, it's removed the normal hours in a day. It has expanded time. It's expanded time in the sense that in the past, it was a matter of when I come home from work, I'm done with that.
Yes.
When I come from my friends, I'm done with that, now we are together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now it's the other way around. The whole day I'm not with my friends till I come home.
That's when I want to catch up with everyone.
Now I'm with my friends, ignoring this
one.
person.
Yes.
My friend. And this has got to be something that all of us have to consciously see, that the devil, like I said, does not attack the way we think.
Yes.
It's very strategic.
Yes.
Because what happens is, in the way God structured marriage, was that the hours that we are together, we are in the environment of one another, we bond, we grow.
Yeah.
You are bonding with others.
Yes. In the
Online,
presence of...
in the presence of the
your
one you
person.
should be bonding with.
Actually,
Yeah.
at the expense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's a session we spoke about people who are divorced but are still married. This is one of the divorces that are married.
Yes.
Because you arrive home and you look at your spouse and they are there and they are smiling and they are laughing, and when you call their name they scowl.
What is it?
What is it?
Like I'm having
Why are you
fun
bothering
here.
me?
Why are you bothering?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think social media is something that people need to think about. Couples have to sit down and ask themselves, where are we going with this? Because when we talk of walking around with phones, having 5 passwords, having, I mean, like secret storage locations.
Folders.
You know,
Folders, yeah.
you're like, what is all this? So you find people that don't realize when the phones came, like you're talking about technology, with technology, it came to magnify the flesh.
Yes.
So I could be praying on one side, but when I go to the phone, it actually brings out the amount of flesh that is still left in me.
Yes.
Correct.
So the amount, I mean, I can use the phone to tell how much flesh I have. I can use the television,
that
movies
again.
and all that to tell how much flesh that I have. Because when you look at the phone, you ask yourself, how much time do I spend? And I always ask people this. Check what you're doing on your phone. Ask yourself how much value it has added. Because do you realize it's only on the phone that somebody can send you a clip, you laugh and you ask yourself, what was that about?
Yes.
Number one. Number two, I can send you a clip of somebody doing something funny, but they're being paid for it. You're not being paid to watch,
No.
Yeah.
but they're working. Actually, the number of times you will watch adds
That's
his money.
their income.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's their income.
Yes.
So what happens? Now you've been told, I have WhatsApp, I need to be sent this clip and that clip. There's somebody else who is praying here and saying, Lord, I don't want defilement. Help me come out of this issue. Immediately you finish, a clip comes. What's the best thing to do? Come out of that group. What are you doing in a group that keeps sending you videos that when you see your wife
You hide.
or you see your husband,
You
you
hide.
hide? That tells you need to come out of those groups.
Exactly.
So I think when you talk of social media, that
Yeah.
is one of the places where that's a monster
Yeah,
that is breaking marriages in a very comfortable way.
And you know, there's a session we both spoke about this. I think that's the session you mentioned. One of the things we said, there are some things in this environment that when you hear us speak, don't think about how the other spouse should fix it. Think of what do you do.
I do.
Yes.
And one of the questions that I asked was, if when you're on, when you go through your WhatsApp and you have a spouse, if after so long you have to delete certain things, ask yourself who you're talking to.
Yes.
Yes.
That relationship is dangerous.
Yes.
Anything you need to keep, you see, that is a gap.
Correct.
What are you attracting? Pressure.
Pressure.
It's coming.
And pressure will come.
It's coming. Every time you create a gap, you open the door. Bible says, give no room to the devil. Room is space.
Yes.
When there's no space, devil has no accommodation.
Yeah.
But whenever we create space, he likes it. These guys like me. They keep creating gaps for me to fill.
Opening
And when
spaces.
the devil is in a gap, and God wants to get him out,
Create
God
pressure.
help you if you're on both sides of that gap. As he presses you to squeeze the devil out,
Yes.
you will feel that pressure.
You will
eventually.
suffer
True,
for
true.
it.
You know?
Yeah.
So that means then at the point of discussing the love, the different types of love that one of the sessions brought out so clearly, as you talk, I can just feel that a lot of our marriages are stuck either at the eros love or stuck at the, one aspect, because there's phileo, there's the storge, there's the eros, and then there's the agape. And as you're talking, to reduce the gaps, then I am working towards establishing this agape love because I need to not be emotion-based. It is not a thing that I feel because emotions lie. It needs to be an intentional and a deliberate decision you make.
And talking about love and talking about the different kinds of love.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is when a couple is stuck on the first three, not the agape. They are stuck on these three. And I think it's so frustrating when you tell a man, love your wife, and he asks you, how do you love? How do I love her? Bring her flowers, buy her
jumped
shoes, buy her. You're like, wait, do you realize I'm not loving? I'm just paying her. I mean, all these things
Or
is like
bribing.
I'm paying. I'm bribing. I'm this is corruption.
Yeah.
Seriously,
And
you
the
want this
marriage.
one to love me and buy her some? It's corruption.
Yeah.
So we
Actually,
have to
put it sadly, it's training for prostitution.
yes, because I pay
dear.
for something. Anything I need from her, I'll pay for
I have to
something. So I'm
bargain.
being trained to. And you know what? We always say this. I think we've said this in a previous recording, that if you train him at home for prostitution, one day he'll go out and discover there's a cheaper way to pay.
Yes.
Yes.
You are too expensive.
Yes.
Your
Yes.
demands are too high,
Yes.
and the man is gone.
Yes.
On the other hand, we have where the man, of course, is being told, buy for her this and buy for her this. The woman is also saying, okay, for me to submit or for you to show me that you love me, I need 1, 2, 3 things. Now, that kind of love cannot last.
That is
You will
trade.
buy, and of course, even me, I will ask for a phone, but the minute you buy me the phone, it takes only 5 minutes of playing with it, and I'm like, wow, now I need something else.
Yes.
I've just discovered that this is not what I need, because there's a void in us. And that is why we are saying, when you talk of agape, agape which goes beyond all this, and that's the kind of love that we should be happy
Yes, you
finding
see,
in marriages.
In the understanding that God is the center of the universe, not man.
Yes.
Okay? Everything that becomes God can then be expressed in the other avenues. You try to express any of those things without God, they are all corrupt. So, failure without God is manipulative.
Conditional.
See it even in school children. You don't talk to me, I'm not your friend. It's already manipulative.
That's correct.
You see, because the source is wrong. It's self. When God is not the center and man is the center, these things become corrupt. So look at it this way. God is on this side, man is on this side. Filio, eros, storge are in the middle. If man is a gravitation, they are corrupt already. All of them. If God is a center, they are pure.
True.
The same things. So if I'm operating from the principle of love, agape, then my eros is out of that identity. That's why Paul will say strange things like, when you are married, your body is not yours.
Yeah.
Your husband's body is not yours. Do not defraud one another. There's no trade here.
Yeah.
This is the issue here.
One, yes.
There's no trade. You are one. Now, here, when it comes to storage, my relationship and what I do for you has nothing to do with what you can do for me, because I'm not keeping records.
Yes.
I'm being driven by God is love. If you wrong me, I am not going to now carry it forward to another activity of eros or whatever, because I don't keep record of wrong. If you are not doing things right, you're not loving me correctly, you're being nice to me, I have no record because I'm operating kindness. So these three can only be alive
Wow.
under agape.
Yes.
So to tell a man, agape them. In my agape nature, I can express filio.
Yes.
I can express storge, I can express eros. In my agape nature. Anything else is Babylon.
And I find when a man operates out of that agape position,
Yes.
the thing it creates in the home is a sense of stability, consistency, security. Whereby the wife doesn't have to worry about fluctuating emotions or affection. It's just there all the time. Because one thing about the agape love of God, that is what allows his heart to stay open towards us, day in, day out, night or day. But when you function from the 3 other levels, then when I get offended, my heart is closed and I feel icy cold.
Yes.
You know? But if I function from that immovable position, then my heart is an open vault for you to come and access those new things that we've been talking about.
And the question is, couples, have you been going through a yo-yo when it comes to love, when it comes to relating with one another? If you find a yo-yo position in your lives, in your marriage, then it's time to sit and ask yourself, are we agaping each other?
Yes.
No, we are on the lower level and we need to up our game.
Yes.
Now, do you realize everything we are talking here calls the couples to mature
Yes.
in the things of God?
Yes.
Meaning it's no longer church as usual.
Yes.
I think this is the moment you say church
Unusual.
unusual.
Yes.
Where you sit and say, it's not about us just sitting and saying, I love you.
Yes.
No. As a husband and wife, like when we talked about friendship, in friendship, when you're talking of friendship, you're saying, let's understand what is love to you. What is love to you?
Yes.
I need to understand you so that when we are talking, we understand one
Yes.
another.
That's
So everything we are discussing, it almost boils down to each couple needs to mature. The individual in this marriage needs to mature, needs to grow.
Yes.
Therefore, we can no longer sit back and say, I'm waiting for my husband. You go seek God. Come and tell me what we need to do.
Yeah.
You see, I think we need to create a new self-test. Like we said, people like saying, I love you, I love you. If you think of 95% of books written on marriage have to do with all these strange things like love deposits, the 5 languages of love.
Yes, yes,
I need to deposit in your love bank. That is trade.
Business.
Trade is only found in Babylon.
Yes.
Only Babylon is trade. Go and read Revelation 18.
Yes,
Babylon
that's trading.
traded with everybody.
Yes.
In kingdom there is no trade.
Yes.
So we
There's
need to
giving
move.
and receiving.
Yes.
Covenant.
So in the kingdom should work like this. We need to change the story where I don't say I love you. You say I love you.
Yes.
You didn't get what I just said.
I got it.
I'm playing with
I'm the
words.
one who should be saying, wow, my husband loves me.
Thank you.
I can see it. I know it. I
Thank
just
you.
have to say it.
There is no
Now,
saying.
Yes.
Yes.
It is me who
Yes.
actually have to call. Actually, I'm the witness here.
Thank
It's
you.
a testimony I have here that, listen,
Yes.
this man loves me.
Yes.
This
You
is
know?
where we have to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have to go to that place where I am the one who says, my wife loves me.
Oh, yes.
Not, I love you, my wife. Don't say it. Love was never meant to be said,
But to be experienced.
to be experienced and expressed.
Yes.
It has no other language.
Correct.
So the minute we bring it into language, we are hypocrites.
Wow.
Wow.
So
That's a high
talking about
standard.
that's a high standard.
That's
And
a high
I think it's
standard.
a good note to finish here. And maybe we have our parting shot. But I think
Yes.
that's a powerful place to say, wait a minute.
Yes.
Do I love? Because if until he says
Yeah.
I love him, it
Yes.
means he has not seen it.
Yes.
I need to come to a place where you have seen it.
Yes.
Tell us your parting shot.
My parting shot is for manhood is a state of functioning from the agape love. Thank you.
I think for me, it was a lot of this conversation leaves me in a place of self-reflection. And I'm in that place of saying, am I the kind of wife that when I've been wronged or when I perceive something hasn't been done right, am I moody and petulant and thinking of, oh, he should have, you know, and that place of saying, can I love so hard that this person is a witness that I truly love them? That's number one. And I think number two, as women, we need to come against this gathering of victims because there's something about as women we do. Oh, you know, my husband did. Hey, yours is not even as bad. Eh? Yours is not, you're mine.
Compete on this.
We are competing on how bad my situation is. That every situation I come to, if I'm not meeting with a kingdom person who is empowering me and pushing me to be a better version of a married wife, then I need not to be in that environment. Then it also means that there's going to be some serious self-edit in terms of relationships and friendships around me. Yeah, so that would be my parting shot.
Thank you.
My parting shot is I have new homework. Very serious homework.
Yeah.
The Bible says, let those who teach be careful. Not everyone want to be teachers, because teachers will be judged more harshly. So I have a new assignment. In the next 1 month, I want to hear my wife say, you love me.
Wow.
In other words, that is a serious
I borrow
assignment.
that assignment.
That's a beautiful assignment.
Yes.
That's a good assignment. And I think for me, couples, I need to you to ask yourself, where are we at?
Yeah.
It calls for us to up our game. When it comes to the spiritual matters, it's no longer just sitting down and thinking things will just happen.
Yeah.
Things have to be made to
Yeah.
happen. We have to desire God. We have to see another life beyond where we are. And we have to come to a place of saying, you know what I've seen in God, I want to see it in my home. And therefore we push ourselves and say, I want to grab this thing. Stay with us.